All right, welcome back to the NFL Report. And earlier this week, the Pro Football Hall of Fame announced its 25 modern era semifinalists. You're seeing the names here, those guys in the bold: Antonio Gates, the tight end; Julius Peppers, former defensive end. Those are the first ballot eligible players for the class of 2024. But now we are joined by one of those semifinalists, and that is former Tennessee Titans running back Eddie George, the head football coach at Tennessee State University. Eddie, I know you just signed the home and home deal with my alma mater, Howard University. Looking forward to those two games. Hey, but Eddie, second time in a row you've made the cut for the final 25. I mean, this is rare air. Like, what is it like to be recognized as a semifinalist right now?
It's an accomplishment unto itself. Of course, you would like to don the gold jacket, but to be in the conversation, to have the opportunity to have your case heard. You see all the names on that list. I mean, you can make a case for anybody on there. And there's some dudes, there's some dogs on there. So I'm really honored. I'm thrilled. And it's special to be recognized in that capacity. And again, it's a long way before the finish line, but certainly when you're mentioned among those great NFL players that have played the game, it's something to be proud of.
Eddie, you played against a lot of the guys on that list. I'm curious if you mentioned you could make an argument for almost all of them, and that's why they're on the list. Is there anybody you scroll down and go, like, he has to get in? Like, this guy has to get in?
I think when you look at the guys that have been on there a long time, I mean, you look at Torrey Holt. I think this is his 10th semifinalist deal. At some point, it's like, okay, he's on there.
Yep.
10 times. You got to put him in at some point in time. He's done so much for the game. You think about, can you write the NFL history without Torrey Holt? And the answer is no. I think everybody on this list is deserving to get in. It doesn't have to be one or the other. Fred Taylor certainly belongs to be in the Hall of Fame, given his track record and his career. Tiki Barber, same situation. I mean, again, every player on this list has contributed to the history of the NFL. And if you're on it at some point, I think, you're deserving to go in. Same thing with Ricky Waters. I think we've all have done something in our time to be deserving to go in the Hall of Fame if we are blessed to do so.
So, Eddie, you mentioned yourself. We got Fred Taylor. You mentioned Ricky Waters, running backs. Right, as we continue to see in the NFL, there's no more workhorses like you. I mean, guys who are touching the ball 30 times a game.
Yeah. Right.
When you look at where the game has gone in terms of the position of the running back, could we, I mean, I hate saying it, be nearing the way of the dinosaur when it comes to running backs getting into the Pro Football Hall of Fame?
I think it's certainly things go in cycles. I think it's going to get back to that at some point in time. You don't have a bunch of Patrick Mahomes, that type of talent at quarterback in the NFL. I mean, you have him and maybe a couple other guys that are truly elite. Outside of that, you got a few guys that are really good football players and really good quarterbacks. So at some point in time, you've got to go back to running the football, running effectively. And guys like Derrick Henry, he's making a case for why he should be in the Hall of Fame one day. What he's put up, the numbers that he's put up. So, during our time in the late '90s, early 2000s, and that's when the bulk, like we've all played during that era, the offense was run through the running backs. Certainly, so carrying it 30 times in, I had almost a 400 yard carry year. That means something without missing a game. And in a physical conference, playing Baltimore twice, Pittsburgh twice, Jacksonville twice. So it was murder's row. And any football purist that watched the game during that time will have to understand that any back that had to go through that gauntlet and was the focal point of their team is deserving of some type of accolade of going to the Hall of Fame, because I'm dealing with it physically, hurt shoulders, bad knees, bad ankles, bad back, everything. So it was a very physical ball game.
Eddie, I don't know how you did it, honestly. When you look at the list of over 10,000 yards and the number of consecutive starts, it's you and Jim Brown. I mean, that's the end of the list, and it's remarkable.
Right.
When I think back at that and watching you play, what I'm curious about is how many weeks, or is there a certain game that stands out where during the week you were like, there's no way I'm playing Sunday, and then you still find a way to get on the field on Sunday? How often did that happen with you?
I'll tell you what, in 2000, the year that I had the most carries in my career, my best year statistically, I was dealing with a turf toe, and I had to get surgically repaired at the end of the season. And I'm in a boot the entire week, and this is when I'm playing against the Ravens 2000 defense. Okay, with Saragusa, Sam Adams, Ray Lewis, that defense.
Yep.
So, again, I never missed a start due to injury. And I had an opportunity to tap out and say, hey, I can't go this week because my toe isn't right. I hadn't practiced. I'm just not myself. No, I had to strap it up and go, man. I had to buckle up my chin strap, take the Toradol shot, line up, and get busy, because we only had a finite window to win a championship. And I felt like, hell, if I'm at 50%, I'm better at 50% than anybody else in the league. And, at that time, the offense was a run offense. So I'm going to go out there and put everything on the line, because I don't know if I'll ever be back in the situation. So, it crossed my mind, but I never took it seriously, because I felt like if I could walk or jog, I can play. And I'm going to play extremely well. I'm going to play like a warrior. I may have to alter my game a little bit, but this is a part of the game. You have to manage that. I never believed in, that load management term that they have nowadays for these millennials. There was no such thing as that, So I'm just cut from the old school, man, and that's what I believe in.
Hey, so Eddie, we're seeing you wear that Tennessee State sweatshirt because you're the head football coach there. How many times do you tell your guys that when they want to tap out or get soft?
Hey, now, listen. We had that conversation at the end of October. We were 6-2.
Yeah.
At the end of October, and I told him, I said, look, November is upon us, and it's a different deal. You set the table, and you start fast in September. You set the table in October. You win championships in November, and it's, what are you willing to sacrifice now? What are you willing to do different? You have to double down on the discipline, double down on accountability, all those things to attain that specific goal. So you have to learn how to deal with pain. And they hear it day in and day out, and you'll be surprised that we did not win those 3 games at the end of the year. And we were in every single one of them, but you have to dig a little bit deeper in order to overcome that and be that 8-win, that 9-win, that championship caliber team. So we had success this year, had a winning season, but I think there's still room for us. There's definitely room for us to be mentally and physically tougher. And trust me, that's what I'm currently working on right now on my notes. Talking about spring football. We are going to run inside zone, outside zone, and power. Repeat. Inside zone, outside zone, power.
I love
it.
Hey,
no air raid offense, JP.
Outside zone, power.
No air raid going on, man.
Hell no.
I love it.
Hell no.
I love it.
You got to earn that right.
I love it. Eddie, what I'm curious about is, you're in the college game. And when I talk to people around the NFL game, specifically in the scouting community, with NIL and what has gone on over these, is going to continue to increase over these next several years, there is a legitimate, I don't know if concern's the right way, but a curiosity about the type of individuals that are coming into the NFL from the collegiate ranks. I'm curious what your take is on kind of how maybe players' experience now over the next several years coming into the league is going to be different than all of these players that have come in before.
Well, it's always been around. It's just above board now. I think that players getting paid under the table through boosters, through different business people to come to various schools, especially at the top schools, this happened. But now it's above board, and I think it's a great opportunity for kids to make money on their name, image, and likeness. They deserve it. I see what these kids go through every day, and cost of attendance isn't enough, and you got to have that. But what it's going to create is a divide in the locker room. Guys are going to get jealous. They feel like, hell, why is he getting more opportunities than me? Maybe because the fact that they're not marketable. Not every player in the NFL is marketable. So kids nowadays are understanding their value. They're understanding that, hey, I can go out and go to a school and get an NIL deal and be comfortable with that. They're in it for the money. You're going to find out real fast who loves the game of football, who wants to be great, and who's just in it just to get notoriety, who's in it just to get NIL deals and so forth. And that's going to be the key. And I think you'll find out real quickly what's important to the player as they come in from the NFL, the collegiate ranks into the NFL, what their priority is. Because with that mindset, you're not going to last very long. It's just not going to happen.
That's fantastic stuff, Eddie. We only have a minute here, but as an HBCU alumni myself, I want to ask you this, because Tennessee State is one of the richest black college football programs in history. Guys, Hall of Famers like Richard Dent and Claude Humphrey. You got Ed Too Tall Jones, not a Hall of Famer, but a great player. How much do you push that history on modern era players when you're trying to recruit them? I mean, does it even work?
You have to remind them. These kids now, they barely know who I am. So when you talk about a Richard Dent or Claude Humphrey or Ed Too Tall Jones, they're like, who? And I'm like, nah. You got to know your history. So that's one of our pillars is tradition. So I try to, in our hallway, we have their jersey up, their history, the number of draft choices that came through, the Pro Football Hall of Famers that have come through your school, because you have to understand what you're walking into. This is not a podunk HBCU with no history.
Right.
This is a school rich in tradition, known for physical offensive linemen, known for receivers, known for Hall of Famers, and that's what needs to happen. And I think a lot of HBCUs don't get enough credit for that.
Hey, Eddie, we appreciate you taking the time. Look, third-year coaching ever, 6-5. Yeah, you didn't win those final 3 games. It was the first winning season at Tennessee State, I believe, since 2017. So congratulations to you. And on December 27th, we're going to find out the 15 Pro Football Hall of Fame finalists. Best luck to you, Eddie George. Thanks for taking some time.
Do I have a vote?
I don't.
You do?
No. I think Steve does. No?
I don't.
Oh. I can be a lobbyist. I mean, Eddie, I'm a Buckeye, so I'm going to be lobbying for you.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. How about that loss, man? God, it hurt.
Yeah.
That hurt.
Oh, come on.
That's what it is. But, hey, guys, I appreciate it, man. And thanks for having me on. Have me back anytime. I'd love to come back on.
Appreciate it, Eddie.
Loves it. Thank you so much, Eddie.